Yeah.
So there was an MLA from the NDP who in the legislature was calling on his colleagues to be better about making sure they wear their masks, like people would do in any workplace.
Yeah.
And then he mentioned while talking that he is immunocompromised. So for him, this isn't a political thing. This is literally, he could die. He has a medical condition that has him immunocompromised. If he contracts COVID, there is he very likely could die. And when he was saying it, the Sask Party MLAs laughed.
Yeah, it's. I'll even play it here.
Okay.
It's just a short video.
It just doesn't make sense. They don't care about bravado. They don't care about ego. They want their moms and dads to be safe. And there's a big reason for that, Madam Deputy Speaker. And I'm sure that you and many of my fellow members here notice that I'm not just wearing one mask, I'm wearing 2 masks. And I'll be doing that every time I enter this building. And the reason for that is that I am an immune-compromised person. The recent changes in my health status are deeply personal, but it's something that's given me a new perspective on what the last year has been like for other folks who are at greater risk of contracting COVID-19. I want to thank the members opposite who choose to wear their masks in here. I see it, I notice it, and I think that's important. What message does it send for those who are choosing otherwise? What message does it send to the people of Saskatchewan when leaders in government don't lead by example? What message does it send when cabinet ministers go on warm vacations during the holidays while everyone else is required to stay home? What does it say when every indoor public space in the province is under a mask?
Yeah, so that's where it cuts off.
Yeah. He just goes on to say, as every indoor space is under a mask mandate, and our leaders aren't.
What does it say? It says that they don't actually care, right? And the people who laughed at him when he said he was immunocompromised, I mean, that's not just not caring, that's outright callousness. Like, how can you, as a person who's supposed to represent other people, feel so little empathy for somebody who is in a vulnerable position who you work with?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, yeah, they're on the opposite team or whatever, but you work with them. Like, I don't
understand it. Like, I
care so little.
I cannot wrap my head around that. I literally just, because if it was, I'm trying to think of circumstances where it's the other way around. I just, how can you openly laugh at and mock a coworker for their medical condition?
No, exactly.
I don't get it. I really, really, and I would like at some point this idea that conservatives are good old, help your neighbor out, car breakdown. Oh, where could you, like,
apparently not, right?
That's gone. Like, maybe in the 1950s. I think even then we should be honest that was a very small subset of the population that they felt that way towards. But even that is gone now, I think. The idea that, they may not have, they may disagree on policy, but their heart's in the right place. Some of them, sure. But the ones who are laughing, no. Yeah. That's gone. That I don't want to hear conservatives talking about morality again. That's done. You've lost it. You've lost that.
You
card.
Do not have the moral high ground.
That is gone now. That. I'm sorry. That's been. It has been a right-wing talking point my entire lifetime that, the right are upstanding moral folk, who just disagree, and they have a different framework of where their ethics are, where their morals are. So for their ethical framework, it's the pulling up by the bootstraps, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's just a different ethical framework, but they're moral and ethical within their own ethical framework. But not when you're mocking people for possibly dying if they contract a disease, not if you're actively choosing to not take steps necessary to keep your coworkers safe when they ask you to. Not
to bring up the US and their situation too much, but it's similar to, it's the same idea. We saw that when Trump was out there and he's mocking a disabled reporter, and making fun of him because of his disability, not for anything he said. He's not even addressing anything that he did or said or reported on.
Yeah.
He's actively just mocking his disability, and people in the crowd cheered. And it's that same mentality that's laughing at their fellow MLA in the Saskatchewan legislature.
Yeah. And then the supporters denying it happened. Because I guarantee you there are people who are going to watch that clip and go, oh, well, it's not really, and somehow justify it, right? They weren't really laughing. It was, or it was just 3 or 4 of them, or it was, you're just looking for something to be angry about. I guarantee there will be people saying that.
Yep.
I didn't go look at the comments. I probably should have.
But it will tell you something that the Reddit thread got locked by the moderators because it veered too far off of like actual discussion.
Yeah.
So
the moral high ground's gone.
Yeah.
And not everyone. Like there are people who would identify as conservatives who aren't laughing.
Yeah, that's right.
But I want to hear more from them calling out their own.
Yeah.
And saying this isn't okay. And not doing the, not all conservatives, and speaking outward to non-conservatives, speaking inward to their own people, saying, hey,
make your team better.
Cut it out. This is not acceptable. Yeah. And I think we need to hear that. And I say the same thing to the left when the left is pulling bullshit.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Obviously I'm probably biased on this, but I see a lot more of the left calling each other out for various things.
Almost to too great a degree sometimes.
Yeah. Almost to too much of a, yeah. to the point where it's actually a meme that the left eats itself.
Yeah.
So, yeah.